Okay, let's be real. Your focus is under attack. I mean, every single notification, every scroll, every little ping is fighting for a piece of your brain. But today, we are going to unlock a powerful secret. This one's from neuroscientist Andrew Huberman that can instantly, and I mean instantly, help you win it all back. So let's dive right in. Does this sound familiar to you? You sit down, you're ready to work or study or maybe just read a book, and your mind it's gone. It refuses to cooperate. It's just jumping all over the place, from one thought to the next. And you're just constantly bombarded, right? Notifications, emails, that endless scroll. It honestly feels like you're trying to think in the middle of a hurricane. So what on earth is going on here? Well, Andrew Huberman says this isn't just a feeling we have. It's a neurological reality. I mean, think about it. Our phones, our social media feeds, all that super fast, motion-heavy content. It is literally training our brains to crave distraction. We're conditioning ourselves day in and day out to need that constant stimulation. And that's why focusing on something still and quiet, like a page of text, can feel almost impossible. But what if I told you the solution isn't some complicated productivity app or a crazy life hack? What if it's a simple biological switch that you have access to at any given moment? The key to fixing your mental focus, it lies in something you're using every single second you're awake. And here it is. This is the core principle, and it's just so beautifully simple. Mental focus follows visual focus. Your brain's entire attention system is anchored to your visual system. So if you can learn to control where you look, you can learn to control where you think. This one idea right here is the secret that unlocks everything else. Okay, so how does this actually work? Let's get into the neuroscience of it. And you'll see how a simple movement of your eyes can trigger a full-blown state of mental alertness. It's pretty incredible. So it turns out our vision has two basic modes. And here's the catch, you can only be in one at a time. You've got panoramic vision, where your gaze is wide, you're seeing the big picture. Think about walking through a park. That state actually relaxes your brain. Or you can have focused vision, where you narrow your gaze to see tiny details with super high resolution. And that puts your brain on high alert. It's always a trade-off. Huberman has this brilliant analogy for it. When you decide to really focus, your visual system essentially starts looking through a tiny little soda straw. It blocks out everything in the periphery to get this incredible detail on one specific spot. And that physical act of narrowing your vision, well, that's the trigger for the whole shebang. Yeah, it kicks off this powerful chain reaction in your brain. When you consciously focus your eyes on one little spot, that simple physical movement tells your brainstem to release two really important chemicals: epinephrine, adrenaline for alertness, and acetylcholine for intense, deep focus. You are literally changing your own brain chemistry just by deciding where to look. How cool is that? Okay, the science is fascinating, for sure. But how do we actually use it? So now it's time to turn all this knowledge into a practical toolkit that you can start using today to actively train your brain's focus circuits. This is your focus workout. It's that simple. Before you start a work session, just do this. Pick a tiny spot on your screen, on a piece of paper, whatever, and just stare at it for 1 to 2 minutes. Now, your mind is definitely going to wander. That's normal. The whole goal is to just keep bringing your visual focus back to that one point. This practice directly strengthens the neural pathways you need for sustained attention. So, how long should you aim to focus for? Well, the research points to this number, 90 minutes. See, our brains naturally operate in these 90-minute cycles of high focus. They're called ultradian cycles. And they're followed by periods where we need to rest. So your goal should be a 90-minute deep work session. And don't beat yourself up. You're not expected to be a laser beam for the whole time. The beginning and end will naturally be a little fuzzy. Now, to make that 90-minute block actually work, you have to be absolutely ruthless with distractions. Huberman's advice here is great. He basically says to make it physically difficult to reach for your phone. Put it in another room. If that's not enough, lock it in your car. Still tempted? He jokes, throw it on the roof. The point isn't just to resist temptation, it's to remove it completely. The more effort it takes to get distracted, the better your chances are of staying on task. When you zoom out, this is all about more than just productivity hacks. It's really about making a conscious choice about how you direct the most valuable resource you have, your attention, and the powerful neurochemicals that fuel it. So I want you to think about it this way. Every day, you have a limited budget of these focus chemicals like acetylcholine and epinephrine. You can spend them on passive consumption, scrolling feeds, binge watching shows. That feels easy, it feels exciting, but it just burns through your budget. Or you can invest those chemicals in active learning, which, yeah, it feels like effort. It can even feel a little agitating, but that's what actually builds and strengthens your brain's focus circuits for the long haul. So the final question is really for you. When you direct your focus, are you just spending your most precious mental resources, or are you investing them? The choice and the incredible power to change your brain, it all begins with where you decide to point your eyes.